What's up, traders? Andrew O'Connell here with Pristine Capital. Welcome to your market recap video. It is July 20th of 2022. What a crazy day we had in the markets, team. Look at these box scores. We're going to talk about today's action. We're going to talk about Tesla earnings, my trades for the session. I actually did a ton of trading. We're actually going to offer a discount to the Pristine Capital trading community, to everyone watching this YouTube video as well, so stay tuned. We're going to begin with our box scores here. We have the S&P 500. It finished up 0.64% for the session. We have the NASDAQ QQQ finishing up plus 1.59%. Small caps finished up 1.5% as well. Our dogs of the Dow, of course, they lagged behind, only up 0.2%. And our ARK Innovation ETF, I actually closed out some of my call options on ARK today, finished up 5.07%. We were able to close those out towards the highs of the day. Pretty much all of these indices did close in the upper end of their day's range, and you can see the small caps closed at the highest part of their range. Interestingly enough, volatility did contract, but compared to the size of some of these moves, not a whole lot. Like the NASDAQ up 1.59%. The volatility index of the NASDAQ was only down 0.26%. This was likely due to Tesla earnings, which came out after the bell. So we're going to take a look at Tesla today. And then you can see our market breadth was positive. We had 79% advancers on the small caps. And our up volume was 61.9%. My trend model remains at a +3 reading. Let's dive into our heat map. We had some really nice moves in these mega cap tech stocks because these things have pretty much been lying dormant for a couple of months now. So we had a nice move in Amazon. We had a nice move in Nvidia as well. Some of these did fade off a little bit towards the end of the session. And healthcare continues to be weak on a relative basis. Off the lows, healthcare was really the only group that was working. And now we're starting to see some red action and some give back in that group. Sectors. Take a look at our map here. The ARK FinTech Fund was up 6.77%. A really nice winner there. Our cannabis stocks are starting to move to the upside, which is pretty fantastic. And then our relative losers, we had Healthcare XLV now towards the bottom of our momentum list. We have these European financials. KWeb ended up being weak. I actually did close out my Li Auto. If you watched yesterday's video, you know I talked about that stock and how, hey, I'm long it, but it's putting in a violation. I was able to cut that off right in the first 10 minutes of the session, and I believe it did end up having a pretty weak rest of the session from there. Also, blockchain assets are now in our fourth momentum slot. So you can see this is a big sea change in terms of which groups are leading and which ones are lagging. Style factors, high beta took the lead today, up 2.55%, now in our top momentum slot. S&P 500, look at this. We did end up getting our test of the 50-day simple moving average. We cleared above it, and now today we actually tested this monthly value area high of 3973.75. If you're a Pristine Capital member, I send off these monthly market profile levels whenever the calendar month flips over. But yeah, you can see it tested that level pretty elegantly, and we ended up putting in sort of a doji candle. Today, I'm going to be perfectly honest, I could sense the emotions out there. I mean, if you've been watching these videos, we've been pretty aggressively long since about mid-May in a lot of these high growth, high octane areas of the market. And for a couple months, we're already in July, it's really just been chopping back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And now we're starting to see the lift off. Now that a lot of these names, they're up 20, 30, 40, 50, 60% off their lows. We've even seen some doubles off the lows. I really got the sense today that there were a lot of investors and traders that were really panicking as the market kept advancing, adding exposure and really just kind of doing what we don't want to do. Because the S&P 500, remember this 5-day exponential moving average, it's a huge magnet. Even if you're in the most bullish trending market, the most bearish trending market, we tend to seek out and retest that level. And like for instance, at 3973.75, we're pretty darn far away from the 5-day EMA. So that's where, when you get super extended like that, it's not really ideal to be adding a ton of exposure, at least if you want to get a good trade location in the short term. But when investors are this under allocated to the market, sometimes they just got to do what they got to do. NASDAQ finished out the session above this monthly value area. I actually took some put options on the NASDAQ today. I was long calls and I ended up flipping into some puts. So let's actually go over to my trades for the day. So let's take a look at what we did. Now you'll notice over the last month, am I having like a ton of trades every single day? No, not really. I'm really just trying to position in these different groups at attractive trade locations, and I was letting these positions marinate for quite a while. So for today, I did take some exits. I closed out my end phase August 19th, 185 strike calls. For $42.75, I had paid $23.15. So I took about an 85% winner. That was one of my largest options trades. You can see it has the 3 stars here. And I use this star methodology, just to really show members of the Pristine Capital trading community, my sizing and my conviction in all these different trades. Beginning in 2023, we want to add even more transparency to what we're doing. So our goal is to really just hook up my brokerage account. That way members can even, really just see on a live basis, everything in my portfolio, all the sizes, that sort of stuff. Because really the goal of what I'm doing is I want to be as transparent as possible. Lee Auto ended up taking this one off. So we'll pull up end phase. Lee Auto, I ended up taking this one off for $3.15. I had paid $4.25, and I just wrote this as business expense because that's really the name of the game as a trader. Sometimes you take an A+ setup, and what's great about the A+ setups is that you pretty much know immediately as soon as it doesn't work. End phase, check this out. I put this end phase position on, I believe it was on this candle back here when we got the pullback, and it was pretty deep. But take a look, this end phase ended up breaking out of this monthly value area, and I took my position off into strength. I got an alert in our trading room chat when this thing hit the 220 level, took that off. And that's, 85% winner. Even if you just had one contract in that, that's, over $1,000 there. So that one definitely awesome to see. And end phase, could it keep going? Absolutely. I think this is a really high potential stock. The other reason why I took it off as well is it has earnings coming up on July 26th. So took that one off. And then Lee Auto. This was a much smaller trade for me, but take a look. Lee Auto, I entered this one on Friday. It looked pretty I believe I entered it on the 15th actually. This one looked pretty fantastic. Hey, nice tight pattern, really good. But then we got a violation yesterday. And I said, you know what? Hey, we're still inside this tight pattern. We did close below the 20-day simple moving average. I'm going to call this a violation. But hey, I'm going to give it a chance. Maybe it turns around. This morning on this gap down, I said, nope. Pulling the plug on this, had a violation, gave it a chance, and it's gone. So I ended up pulling this off. Lee Auto actually rallied for a bit, and I sold it off into that rally. So so long as you're managing your risk, you're not going to have 100% winners or anything like that. But it's all about just really managing your exposures. When something doesn't work, just mercilessly getting rid of it. And then what else did we have? So that was Lee Auto. I did the same thing for XLV. I closed off some call options for $2.49. I had paid $3.85. And I wrote here, there's no way I'm closing out end phase, which is my big winner, and going to leave on my loser. So I just wrote expense it, creating a bit of room to get long a peg setup if and when it should present itself. Because that's the thing as well. Like, hey, if my best trades are hitting their targets and, giving me reason to take them off, I already hit my risk reward, whatever it might be, it never makes sense to take off your best trades and then leave on your losing trades. So I took the opportunity into the strength today to get rid of all losers. So XLV ended up closing this one out as well, and I got a really nice trade location on this exit. XLV, also a very small position. This for me was a 1-star trade. So you can see that right here. Lee Auto, very small trade. Same thing for XLV. I closed out my QQQ August 19th, 282 calls. This was a 2-star trade. Closed these out for $21.63. I had paid $11.63. So this was about an 85% winner. And yeah, just wanted to nail down the decent profits. The NASDAQ was trading outside of the upper Bollinger Band, team. So for everyone that's getting like emotional and oh my gosh, like now I gotta get long, geez, like it's just never gonna stop. This is one of the key, human biases. The NASDAQ, I believe it just put in like, a 6% move to the upside in very short order, right? And as humans, when we see a 6% move, we think that there's a high likelihood there's going to be another 6% move immediately after. When in reality, once you get the 6% move in like 2 days, the odds of actually replicating that over the next 2 days, they're actually very, very slim. But that's a very common behavioral bias. But if you look here, take a look on the Bollinger Band, check this out. And this is, not rocket science or anything, but take a look at all the other times we hit the upper Bollinger Band really since December of 2021. We hit it here, we hit it over here as well, and then here we're trading through it. Look, this is the only time we've done that the entire year to date. So I was like, I would be a fool for not taking some targets. So that's exactly what I did. So I took off that NASDAQ exposure and I actually flipped and I went on the other side. So I actually added some NASDAQ August 5th 302 strike puts. And yeah, I was just kind of feeling it. Hey, I think there's a bunch of traders chasing this. They're probably going to get shaken out at some point. So yeah, close those out. I closed out my SPY 386 August 19th calls for $13.90. I had paid $12.94. A nice little winner on that one. And that was a pretty small trade as well. And then I closed out 10% of my BITO September 16th. 15 strike calls for $1.77. I paid $1.33. This was a big trade for me. It's a 3-star trade. Nailing down decent profits. I just, thought, hey, everything's moving in my favor. I got to close some of this out and nail some of it down. And then I also closed out a third of my ARK August 19th, 44 strike calls for $6.25. I had paid $3.80 for those. So that's another, 75% winner or something like that. It's a 2-star trade as well. So yeah, for me today, my goal was really just monetizing positions. The other key thing that I want to talk to you about is seasonality for July is very, very good. And July has lived up to the expectations in terms of the seasonality. But August is not a good seasonal month. Check this out. Look at the seasonality for July, how beautiful and upward trending it is. But then look at what you get in August. It's a chop fest, and there could even be a correction at the end of July. So I really think most traders, at the end of a nice run, or like after a run, everyone gets really optimistic. And like, oh my gosh, now's the time to buy calls. Everything has gone up so much. But yeah, I think it's always important to be looking ahead and just seeing what does the landscape look like as I look out, at some of my indicators. So I made a conscious decision for today. Hey, let me close out a bunch of my options exposures. And it's not like, oh, I can never be long again. Now I'm shorting everything, or now the crash is coming. It's really just, I want to make sure that moving forward for the next couple of weeks, I focus more on common stock trading. Because if I enter common stock positions and the market goes nowhere for the month of August, who cares? I'm just sitting in the common stock, no big deal if it goes sideways. If I'm getting long short-term options, however, that's pretty problematic if the market just goes sideways. So yeah, just wanted to clean up the books a little bit, close out that ARK position. The only long trade that I did take was I entered some GTBIF common shares for $10.35. This is the name. It's a cannabis stock. I've done a ton of research on this name, and I really like this company. I put here 70-year hold. This name is going to pay me a dividend one day. I really think these cannabis stocks are going to pay me dividends one day, so I just added that exposure. I closed out my DQ common shares for a small winner, $68.90. I'd paid $67.33. And then Global E. This is a position I added on. I was able to bottom fish this stock, and I sold the 30 strike August 19th calls against my common shares for a credit of 90 cents. I reduced my cost basis from $17.44 to $16.54. And honestly, like if we get to the 30 strike for Global E, look at that. We have a virgin point of control above us at 27.26, I think that could be a potential point of resistance. And I factored that in when I was selling these calls. Then we have the R1 pivot at 28.87. So if we were to get to 30, I would just be so pumped at that move. I wouldn't mind selling the stock off. Really where I start to lose is if Global E goes above $30 plus the premium I received, which was 90 cents. So if we get to 30.90 over the next month, it's certainly possible. Again, this is a great company. I think it's undervalued. But if we get there, I'll end up selling off my shares. And I do feel okay with that. Although I would like to just have those short calls expire and keep riding this stock higher, because I do believe I can get at least a double out of this stock. And right now it's marking at maybe like a 40% winner. So yeah, those were my trades for today. Again, like, trading's not the kind of profession or career or whatever, hobby, whatever you want to call it. It's not the kind of thing where you're going to have the same trading volume every day. Every day is different. It's an opportunity-based job. The traders that try to go out and trade every single day and, all right, I'm going to enter a bunch of longs, say market's up, I'm buying, market's down, I'm selling, like, sort of mentality, it just does not work, team. So that's why I want to invite you, if you're interested in, really just taking your trading to the next level and you want to take a more professional mindset with your trading, like I notice on financial Twitter, there's plenty of good information out there. I learn a lot from financial Twitter as well, but the habits that are enforced by being on Twitter are just the worst. Horrible. If you're on Twitter pretty much the whole trading day, I can almost guarantee that you're underperforming, because it's really just you're getting way too much stimulus. You're taking in all these different styles. Everyone's trying to flex on Twitter, so everyone wants to make it seem like they're making money on every trade. Like, it's just not really a good environment to immerse yourself in. Again, if you want to learn, there's fantastic people to learn from. But what ends up happening if you're on there too much is you're learning from 20 different people at once. And if you try to do 20 different strategies at the same time, you're just not really going to do good at any of them. So I would like to just extend the invite for anybody that's watching these videos, if you're enjoying and you really just want to go to the next level. Our focus at the Pristine Capital Trading Group is really just relative strength trading, finding opportunities with an asymmetric risk and reward, doing our market analysis in a repeatable way every single day. Everyone's trying to work together and really just find some of the best opportunities in the market. And it's not really about just, flexing and, trying to make yourself look good. It's really just like, let's do the work and let's put the time in and try to succeed at this together. So I'm going to put a discount code in the description to this video. And I believe I'm going to do like 25 bucks off, or like, we'll see, maybe I'll do like a free trial or something of that nature, a discount off your first month. And yeah, if you're interested, we would love to have you. Again, like the goal of the group, it's not like a get rich quick scheme. Like, if you're really just interested in, like, I want to make a lot of money real fast, like, it's definitely not the group for you. It's really if you love trading. If you're already a profitable trader, we really want you in the group. And if you have a similar style, the momentum trading, the market structure, that sort of thing, that's really what we do best. So again, like, if you're somebody that really wants to become a professional, this group is for you. And if you already are a professional, this group is for you, because like you'll notice yesterday, I took a trade in the US dollar and I made some money off of it, and it wasn't my idea. It was someone from within the group. And I'm sure there's times where, someone takes an idea from me or an idea from someone else or whatever. It's really just, we're all trying to get better. So definitely, if you're interested, go ahead to pristinecapital.net. If not, if you just enjoy watching these videos, I really appreciate that as well. I love just, sharing this with you guys, and, no pressure either way. But yeah, heading into tomorrow's session, let's take a look. This is a bit of a longer recap, but that's okay. We had more to talk about today. Tesla reported earnings after the bell, and I'm still long a lot of the ARK exposure. So I still have my leaps on. I still even have some of my August calls on in ARK, and Tesla's the biggest position in it. So Tesla, overall, it's not really moving all that much after hours. The market maker implied move for this stock was plus or minus 6% and change. Right now, it's up about 1% in the after hours. So I would say this earnings report was pretty much a nothing burger. Nothing, nothing too crazy about it. And yeah, so I think heading into the rest of the earnings season, my goal is, today I raised some cash, and like this is my position log for the moment. And I share this every single day with all members. And I actually raised some cash today. So check this out. Yeah, this is something like I'm monitoring it every day. I track this as well. And this is what I currently have open. I was at 99% invested, and I got myself down to about 68.3% invested. And you can see I added those, those QQQ put options on for today. But other than that, I'm really just kind of hanging out in these exposures that I currently have on the books. So yeah, just going to take it one day at a time. That's really about it. But yeah, thank you so much for watching these videos. You guys are awesome. That about does it for this market recap video, team.